And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Dipcatcher Radio, back again. Oh, I forgot to tweet it out. Let's tweet this link. I just got the notification from YouTube on my phone, so let's see if people start piling in. Let's share this on Twitter. Let's share. Let's tweet this link out. Tweet it out. Live now. All right. Just tweeted the link out. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about the kind of where everything's at with the reload phase. Kind of look at the charts, look at general stake behavior, which I think plays a lot into participation in the reload phase. So why don't we just get started? Let's share my screen. Okay. So we've seen a lot of redemption from both E-base and P-base. So at the end the stake started with 100 million. So a year ago, 100 million hex was pooled. It earned about 12%. And then we've actually been seeing a steady kind of flow of these redemptions. It kind of bottomed out yesterday and we saw it start to tick up here, but then there was like someone who was a big liquidity provider actually pulled their liquidity and then redeemed something like 9 million from both chains right here. So kind of these big moves down have been there's been two major kind of waves of redemption with like some slower redeeming in the meantime. I think what this really is it just kind of shows where the market's at with Hex right now. It's like this is 2 years into a down only bear market, combined, the combined Hex. So like if you compare the all-time high, where there was only eHex, and then now there's kind of this combined one, and specifically with these tokens, since they were launched before Pulse Chain, the combined value is relevant. The combined value of Hex is down from the all-time highs, say 50 cents down to 1 cent. So that's 98% down. So it's kind of makes sense that if there's low demand for Hex, there's low demand for staking Hex. And you see that across the board. You also see that in the, let's go to this as well. You kind of see that with the decreasing, percent of the supply that is staked. Let's hide this one. Or no, let's focus. So you see that kind of trending downwards. Let's see what maybe mining data is where we can see, or adoption maybe. Yeah, I mean, so even since Pulse Chain launched, and this may be only on Ethereum. I don't know if this captures the Pulse Chain data, but the amount of stakers, like the current stakers, it peaked out around a month before Pulse Chain launch at 120,000, and now it's at so just under that. So not too big of a decrease, but compared to times in the past where this figure has been growing at an exponential rate, definitely seeing just like reduced staker activity across the board. So it kind of makes sense that there would be it would kind of be there with or similar activity would be taking place with base. I think really everything changed for Hex when Pulse Chain launched, because it went from having like the ecosystem being kind of centered around one asset that had been performing really well, except for like I guess the year and a half leading into Pulse Chain launch, it had been in a bear market, but still had been still had been up. But then with Pulse Chain and then kind of everything that's happened since then, I think that it um, like Hex is very different now, and I think that in general there's just less demand for Hex, and then less demand for staking Hex, and that's just how it is right now. I think that like these cycles can definitely turn around, and they turn around when you least expect it. They turn around when things seem like they couldn't possibly get worse, um, and so I think that's kind of what we're seeing here the um, is that the just the appetite for staking Hex, like you see it across numerous different measures, that the stake activity is just low. And also, I mean, I think a lot of people, especially after Pulse Chain launched, it's like whenever there's a new source of liquid assets, they tap into that, because I think a lot of people are like, when if you think about just kind of how, like, let's look at the Hex chart from the time that so here we'll look at it on, actually here we'll go to the combined Hex chart, because that's relevant to the people that had came in with their copies. um, so the Hex price at around the when the base stake started was about 3 times what it is now, and at the time it seemed like that was like the depths of a bear market. And so throughout base's life cycle, you saw it go from 3 cents to then hitting up to, I think, almost 12 cents. So on paper, like the Hex price, and since base kind of hugged the Hex price pretty well the whole time, um, base holders who'd minted, they had experienced about a 4x run up in price. But then now with the, like, after Pulse Chain launched and everything just had a major sell off, we're back here at this level. And so the US dollar value of the Hex that went into base is now down by 66%. And so I think that things like that kind of have, like, people were that had held their tokens since then, I think, just basically cutting losses because of how, Hex has performed. And I think a lot of people, like, you see it across the board when you look at at just stakes ending in general. A lot of people take that as a time to sell, and I think that's contributing to the kind of the reduction in the amount um, of Hex in the base stakes. But I think that probably most of the redemption is going to be, like, most of that I think will happen in the first half of the reload phase. So we could see a bottom there pretty soon, and then as, like, the last days to join for the next cycle kind of becomes more imminent here in about 6 days, we'll probably see a little bit more minting. Hey, everyone in Dipcatcher, please tell me if you can end base stake on Ethereum Fair. Base stake isn't ended there. I understand the chain is kind of ghosted, but Hex is alive there. Please add support. Well, I didn't, because it's, like, impossible for me to get ETH Fair, so, like, I didn't go and end the stake. If you send me the RPC and network ID, like, send me all the information for connecting, and then I'll try to make it available to end. I'd love if someone explained what, because a lot of people ask about it, and the value of it is thousands of times less than what it is now, and there's not any evidence of, like, adoption or even, like, demand for speculation over there. So if someone could explain why, like, what, there's a lot of people, I'm surprised, have continued to ask about ETH Fair and ETHW. Maybe someone should make the case, and don't say same code, new chain, because I just won't believe you. I mean, even though it's true, but I'm curious why there is still appetite for this. Question: if I want my base stake for the second year phase, do I have to end it and then do restaking, or just don't do anything and it'll automatically be staked? Yeah. So if you want to just keep holding base into the next stake, just hold your base. You do not have to do anything. Just simply hold it. But if you're talking about diamond hand, you do have to read diamond hand. You do have to re-enter your diamond hand time lock. Oh, my camera's off. Let's look at the charts. Let's see what's going on. Where's Pulse Chain? I always wonder what all these other chains are. Like, who's Kanto and who's Avalanche? Oh, I mean, I know Avalanche. Who's Kanto? Who's Clayton, Mantle, Linea, Osmosis? Who are all these chains? Anyways, let's look at Pulse Chain. Okay, so look at the Rat Pulse. Yeah, so I mean, this pretty big sell-off from the highs. Probably hit this level. I'm still coasting on my leverage long position on Fame. Probably should have locked in the gains, but like I said, we're holding it till sack price. We're getting liquidated trying. So, I mean, this is a good, like, even though like it looks like this, like similar kind of vibe to, there's like after, people were able to bridge in and all that, people got kind of settled 10 days in. There's like a big sell off, and then it started to kind of inch back up. And then this was like the whole kind of like legal case sell off, and it's kind of started to inch back up. But this at least, if you just kind of isolate the last, say, month and a half, that's looking looking a little bit stronger. But you never know. I mean, probably the biggest thing that we're gonna have to fight through on this is just how much participation there was in the sacrifices. Like, no way around it. The having so much of the demand swallowed up 2 years in advance in a way that doesn't impact the price. And now like where that demand just created new supply. That's something that Pulse Chain is just going to have to fight through probably for years. So let's see what's going on with. So kind of similar action here. where we had kind of like a little bit of a run up and then big sell off, and then now it's kind of repeating. Um, like it probably makes sense that this like these sell offs are kind of related to events. Um, and by now, like just because like the hex, it's been going down for 2 years, um, and so many big sellers have exhausted their amount to sell. That's at least a good sign that perhaps like the cycle may kind of come to a new phase. But what that could mean is like we could grind sideways for quite some time. One day the chain can resurrect and be somewhat relevant. Justin Sun making moves there. ETH price spiked. Let's see. Did ETH? Where do I find the ETH fair price? Hmm. I mean, I guess it did go from 7 cents to 29 cents. 500K volume. Let's see if there's what markets is it on? HTX, Gate, Biget, MEXC, Bitmart, Poloniex. Most of it's on is that Huobi? Hmm. Well, shit. Sure, we can add it. Let me go look at. Okay. So you guys want to see how easy it is to add it? Let's go to the perpetuals. Let's make sure we're in the editing branch. We're going to go in here. We're going to say ETH POW. We're going to find LFA equals ETH fair. T equals. And then now let's just search to hexadecimal. OX7B4CC. Okay. Now, let's see how that works. And then let's also go to the team app. Okay, here we go. ETH Fair, Ethereum Fair. All right, so someone just needs to go into operate stake page on ETH Fair and then go ahead and run these functions. So there you go. Well, here, I'll have to push it. Let me push it to production. ETH Fair is also available here on the team sites. Okay. So we'll merge changes into master, merge. Okay, let's go back to keep it in that editing branch, and let's merge changes into master. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, you have it. ETH Fair. What do you recommend someone wanting to get into Maximus ecosystem? Asks the memes team. I got to deep dive more into docs. I don't know the difference between Max and team. The rest I understand pretty well. So, team is it's related to base, trio, lucky, and desi. It earns a little bit of the yield from all those ones. It earns half of the bigger pays better bonus. So, and so every year it gets a little payout from base. Every 3 years, team stakers get a payout from trio. Every 7 years, team stakers get a payout from lucky. And every 10 years, team stakers get a payout from desi. And so the longer the stakes are, the more time it has to accumulate. So like that payout in year 7 for lucky or year 10 for desi, those are going to be quite big compared to like with base. The payout in hex was relatively small because it's 1 year and it was only 100 million and not the maxed out bigger pays better bonus. So, so the whole purpose of team is to kind of be a growth engine for these perpetuals. So I think team is probably the best, like if you're just getting started in the whole Maximus ecosystem. I think team is probably one of the better ones to kind of get started because it gives you some exposure to all the hex stake pools. And team is going to experience some deflation through the upcoming launch of a new system called Pool Party. So Pool Party is kind of like a new evolution of team, and then you'll be able to mint the party token by burning team. So the more people that burn team to mint party, the less team there will be available, meaning that the earnings per team staked could go up in the future. So not only does team earn some of the yield from the 4 stake pools in years 3, 6, and 9, there's something called the 369 escrow, where team stakers during year 3, 6, and 9, they get some of the maxi that was put into the team, like at the mint. So it comes out to 30% of the minting. The escrow address. So here, let me pull it up on Etherscan. So if you look at let me pull this up here. We'll share this tab. So if you look at the holders of team, so the mystery box has the largest amount of team, and that's due to and so far what the mystery box has done with the team is it has provided liquidity and it has airdropped team to the team stakers and to the base diamond hand holders and all the other diamond hand pools. So so far team is just kind of basically just given some team tokens away. So the escrow. Where's the escrow? Oh, wait, no, it's Maxi that's in the escrow. So here, let's go to the contract. I was looking in the wrong place. So let's read this. We'll find the escrow address. So this escrow address, see, it holds 28 million Maxi. What there's something called the 369 rebate, pretty much, where if you stake your team in year 3, you get your share of what comes out to, I think, what is that? Let's get rid of some of the zeros. 91. Okay, so that is your share of 4.69 million team or maxi in year 6. It's like 9.38, and then in year 9 it's going to be like 14 million team is going to be, or 14 million maxi is going to be distributed to the team stakers. So team has a variety of different income streams over the next 15 years. I mean, really forever, because these perpetual pools always continue on. But think about this: like year 3, team has the payout from the trio stake. It has, so that means it's going to get some hex. It's going to get the hedron from the trio stake, and it's going to get the maxi from that first batch from the rebate. Then year 6, it's going to have the second go around of trio and the that year 6 on the maxi one, and base, because base happens every year. And then year 9, it's going to have the third go around of trio, and it's going to have that largest sum of the maxi rebate. So team is definitely along the lines of kind of the original kind of messaging around hex, which was delayed gratification, long-term timeframes. And so team is, has these payouts scheduled over the next decade. Currently, the stake cycle for team goes on the same schedule as base. And so the team stake period number 1 just ended, and we saw a lot of people, as soon as their team became liquid, there was a lot of selling. So between there being a lot of selling and due to the mystery box providing a lot of liquidity, there's actually, pretty good liquidity that you can buy into in those pools. So I'd say that, if you were a personal friend, we were talking in real life, I would probably say that team's probably the best one right now. But again, that's, all these things can go down. Thanks for the breakdown. You're awesome. Mystery box sounds, I don't know, interesting snowball effect. I like it. Thank you for the alpha, of course. Let's go ahead and tweet out that. Okay. Support for ETH Fair has been added to perpetuals.maximus.cash and team.maximus.cash. Step 1, here are instructions. Go to on perpetuals page, on perpetuals site, go to, connect to ETH Fair. 2, go to stake operation page. 3, click mint hedron, click end stake, and then click stage rewards for base. Click mint hedron, then end stake, then stage rewards for base under the diamond hands section. now minting redemption and diamond and the rewards claiming will be eligible, will be activated on. So here are the base instructions, or the team instructions. Only one person needs to run this. It will throw an error if it has already been run. For the team instructions, one, need to go to the contract operations page and then click prepare rewards. Oh, so maybe someone already ran it. Yeah, looks like someone already ran it, but here we'll just post this for posterity. Go to contract operations page to click prepare rewards for hexahedron. Prepare rewards for hex and hedron. 3. Now the team period 1 stake rewards will be available to claim. Okay. Your transparency is 100 and the knowledge. Thank you. Koshin says, nice. ETH is alive. Let's take a look at this. Let's refresh this and see what's going on. What's that guy's name? He's on Twitter and he was posting charts related to the hex stake rate. Maybe I'm following him. What's his name? Hanzi. I think it's Hanzi, right? It's not Hanzi. What's that guy's name who posts the charts? He has that dashboard chart, like that dashboard site. Ben Sierra, that's right. Yeah, so this is actually this is what I was looking for here. Here he says that restaking ratio for Hex on Ethereum remains stable at 28%, restaked in August. Does not seem to be getting lower for now after all-time low in May. So, the base stake started a year ago. And so the restake rate went from 40%, which was, January 2023, so it may have been higher, down to 30%. So if on average, and that's for people on Ethereum. So if on average people on Ethereum are restaking at pretty low rates, then perhaps we do see that here. But probably what helps in this case is that because these coins are liquid at all the time, maybe there's like there's a little bit less pressure to restake or to not restake if you want liquidity. But I think really it comes down um, to team. Like I really call on all people who are part of the team staking cohort to do all you can to help grow these e-base and p-base pools because that's what they're incentivized to do. So but also I mean it's the thing is like your keys, your coins means that whoever owns the base, it's totally their choice what to do with it. And if there's if like the current market cycle um, causes low demand for hex and low demand for hex staking, then it, kind of is what it is. And that's really what these I think what these assets are is it's actually a really good index to be able to identify the general stake appetite. It's like when Maxi launched, there was big um, appetite for staking. Even when these all launched last year, because Maxi had just basically doubled in price right away, I think that was causing a lot of minting participation. And then by now, there's broad depression across the market, huge dilution of demand, and even demand destruction. So, um, it's kind of just a sign of the times. But the thing is like these things will keep on running. So like even if it aligns up with a down year, maybe it makes sense that the participation is lower. But then when these align, these are going to happen every single year. So some years it's going to happen during a bull market, some years it's going to be a bear, and so probably the bull market mint phases are probably going to have more activity. Bear market ones are going to have a little bit less, and that's this will be a gauge for that appetite for staking. And we get a measurement every year. So and the thing is with these pools, it's it's always awesome when we get closer to that bigger pays better, but bigger pays better really is very small. It's not really that much of a bonus at all. um the the main driver, like the main value in these really is the consolidation of the end state gas fee, because one person paid the end stake fee. So 99.99% of users paid zero fees for any stake. So, and during the whole time, you're able to transfer your tokens. You can sell them if you want. The price remained pretty constant um, with the underlying value, and so those are the main value propositions of this. And those value propositions apply even with 10 users, 100 users. Right now, there's about 1,000 holders of base. Um, but even during times of low participation and low appetite for staking hex, there still is a very strong value proposition for the users. So I think that's kind of the story that we'll start to see kind of over the next year. Um, let's take a look at the team. See what's going on in team.maximus.cash. So we saw check this out. So here, let's look at the team kind of like restake, right? So let's look on Pulse Chain. So going into period 2, right now we have 25 million teams staked, and then compared to, I mean, this is with 6 days remaining. 25 million team has been scheduled to stake into the next year. Um, Year one had 67 million, and the total supply of team, and so like non mystery box owned team, that came out to something like 85% of the supply. And so immediately what you saw here was, um, as the team became liquid, so right here, end stake, and then really big sell off, as which kind of makes sense if like the user owned supply, if 85% of the user owned supply suddenly became liquid, it kind of makes sense that there would be a pretty big sell off. So about 26% sell off right there, back to just below the mint rate. So the mint rate was 1-to-1 with Maxi. I'm here looking at the team Maxi chart. And if you're on Deck Screener, come here and click invert pair. So because like this is the default, it shows the price quoted in team. You want to look at the price quoted in Maxi. So for basically all year, the price was below that min rate, and then it was above it for a while, leading into the next phase, and then right here we saw big sell off as the liquid supply that all hit the market accounts for 85% of the total supply. So that kind of makes sense that there would be a sell off there. And it is kind of consistent with. Let me show you this image. I like bringing this up. Yeah, right here. So it's kind of consistent with this like early analysis I did. So here from August 8th of 2022, kind of these like, because team is on this 1-year stake cycle, it makes sense that leading up to the period, buyers for the next stake period start pushing the price up. As team price rises, more team stakers are willing to tolerate the early end stake penalties, so they end stake and sell them to the pump. So we saw a little bit of that. There wasn't too much early end staking. I mean, there actually was. I mean, I think like 2%, like the rewards are like, or like 2% was early end staked, which I guess isn't that much, but so kind of leading up to it. But then, right here, it like this shows stakers from last period are end staking and selling team at the same time. Since next staking period doesn't start for almost a year, team buyers are less urgent. Price goes down as a result. Team panic sellers early end stake. So there very well could be even further sell off like after the next stake period starts here in about a week. So that's kind of the cycle that was kind of laid out in the before launch, like almost a month, like over a month before launch. I was kind of laid out, and we're actually seeing that play out here. We're like leading up to it, it was going up, and then this is October 1st. Let's put that here, and then that stake period ends, it kind of recoils. So team is kind of working as it was, I guess, predicted. And I think with team, it's kind of similar to the other things, where like a common thread across all these, because these are all assets that are tightly coupled to Hex. They kind of move to the beat of Hex's drum, and so that's kind of what we're seeing. Like if there's low demand for Hex, that means that there's probably also low demand for something that pays out annual dividends in Hex. But it's also reflexive, where if there's high demand for Hex, perhaps there's even heightened demand for things that pay out Hex. So that's kind of just the cycle that we're at, and I think memes team. That's also why I think that the team is probably like a good one. But again, there's also no rush, and things can always keep going down. That's the thing too. So like it's entirely um, your choice on what to do. But it's always good to buy into red. You don't want to be chasing tops unless you really have to. Um, so um, so yeah. All right, you guys. I'm gonna have to hop off here. I gotta do something real quick right now. But um, thanks for joining me today. Maybe we'll get back on later today. I don't know if I'll have time, but um, we'll just keep moving forward. So you can last things, you can join the 369-day hex stake pool at perpetuals.maximus.cash. You have 6 days left to do that, and you have 6 days left to stake team into the next stake period. So um, those are the things going on right now. Follow me, Dipcatcher, on Twitter. And do not get scammed during these launches and during these mid phases and stuff. The scammers come out of the woodworks. I will not DM you. I will not call you. Um, if you need help with something, ask for help in a public chat. If anyone DMs you, they're trying to scam you. Only ask for help in public and only receive help in public. So thank you all. And we're going to sign off here. So we'll talk to you all soon. Have fun, everybody.